Hi, my name is Renee. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I make videos about my life in midlife. Empty nest, career and work transitions, travel and adventuring, homemaking, gardening, living next door to my parents, all on Nova Scotia's beautiful South Shore. This is my 4th countdown to Christmas video. My last Christmas countdown video was released about 2 weeks ago, which in Christmas time is like 2 years ago with all that has happened between then and now. My first 3 videos in this series were rather slow moving. I talked about my Christmas values. We talked about what Christmas looks like for our family at this stage. I talked about women's invisible labor at Christmas time and around maintaining relationships and I guess family culture building. I did a lot of talking because there wasn't a lot of actual Christmas prep and making going on. There was some, but not like there has been for the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks have been very busy with Christmas making and Christmas preparations. Somewhat ironically and not surprising, the Christmas making, all the things that I have been doing, have taken up a lot of time. And some of that is time that I would have spent working on videos. So as the Christmas making and doing and Christmas countdown has intensified, I have less time to make videos about it. So this video is going to catch you up on all of the activity from the last couple weeks. So let's just jump right into it. Let's start this Christmas countdown video talking about decorations. Decorations are low on my priority list. And what I mean by that is that when I think about everything that I am trying to get ready for Christmas or where my values are in making Christmas happen and what's the most important things that have to happen to get ready for Christmas, decorating is low on that list. I made a list early this month when I was in a moment, or maybe it was a day of overwhelm about everything that had to happen to get ready for Christmas. And I just wanted a way to, I guess, visualize the priorities for myself because we can't do everything. So I made a priority list so I could remind myself if I was in a moment of stress or trying to determine the best use of my time, like should I do A or B, or what's most important if I can only get a few things accomplished in this time, what matters most. I made a list for myself to help me remember, okay, what matters most to me? And decorations are the lowest on that list. You'll notice that gifts aren't even on this list. The amount of effort I give towards the other things on my priority list is way more than what I spend thinking about gifts. And part of the reason that I just can't put as much energy, mental energy, into gifts is because of all these other things that I am thinking about and preparing for. Decorations for our Christmas are simple, and they're simple on purpose. They're just not at the top of the list when it comes to how we spend our money, time, resources, and effort in making Christmas. Having said that, I still want some festive feel to the house. It's really important to me, actually. I really love a cozy, festive atmosphere. And so, one of the key pieces, or two of the key pieces of my decorations this year, are these hanging stars. I have wanted stars like this for years now. I talked about this in Christmas Countdown video number 1, that when I went to buy them last year, it was already too late. So I put on the calendar for this year, put it on November 1st, I think, to look for the stars, buy these stars. The stars are a big part of my decorations this year, and I thought I would put them in the front windows of the house, the south-facing windows. However, I didn't account for the blinds. There wasn't enough space between the window and the blinds for the stars. So I had to think of another place to put them, and I ended up putting them on the French doors from our dining room to the deck. So that is the west side of the house. And then on the very opposite wall, on the east side, I hung a star over the wood box in kind of the wood burning area. That whole eastern window has a very wood burning vibe. We've got the wood shed in the background, we have the wood in the house, and of course we have the wood stove in the corner. So I have stars on the eastern and western windows in our main living area. These stars are as delightful as I was hoping they would be. I absolutely love the warmth that they bring. They have a real warm tone. Of course, that comes from using a certain kind of bulb. I have a warm light 40-watt equivalent bulb in them. It's some kind of LED, but it's the 40-watt equivalent, and it's in the warm light tones. I just really love these stars. I'm so happy with them. They're kind of, for me, like the centerpiece of my Christmas decorations, other than the tree, of course. I'm the kind of person that leaves Christmas decorations up past Christmas, well into January. These stars are definitely going to be up at least until the end of January. I want them up for that whole window that bookends solstice, the month before solstice and the month after solstice. So that will take us well into January. I will say that they took a little bit of finessing in putting together. They are made out of paper and they came folded, and then I had to unfold them to construct them, as well as figure out how to hang the light in them. The unfolding and setting them up and hanging the light in them and then tying them together, that takes a little bit of finessing. That wasn't exactly straightforward. It worked fine, but I'm going to have to be gentle with these in storing them. I plan to get boxes for each one. I plan to store them as they are. I'm not going to deconstruct them, because all of the deconstructing and constructing each year is going to add wear and tear to them that I don't want. I want these to last for a little while. I'm gonna have to get dedicated storage boxes for these just to keep them in the best shape possible for the coming years. So that is something to take into consideration if you're considering getting something like this. At the time of recording this in mid-December, these hanging stars are the most prominent decorations that I have, other than the tree. We did set up the tree this past weekend, but it's still not decorated, so our tree is just in its natural state. I don't intend to do much more decorating. After recording this, I started to wonder, well, how many more decorations do I really have other than the Christmas tree and these stars? So I got all the decorations out of our storage bin, and we only have 2 decoration bins. We used to have just 1. When I moved here, my mom passed down to me a small bin full of Christmas tree decorations, which are much needed because we have a larger tree here in this house than we've ever had before. So I need more Christmas tree decorations. So we now have 2 bins of Christmas decorations. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to have to get storage boxes for the stars. So we're slowly accumulating more Christmas holiday storage as we go. Anyways, I wanted to see how many more decorations I actually had that had to be put out. So I emptied our storage bin, put it all underneath the tree, and here you can see the sum total of our Christmas decorations outside of the stars, which I've already talked about. Most of what's here is actually decorations for the tree. Almost all of these are tree decorations. And then there's like some small little things that can be placed around the house. So I don't have a lot more that needs to be done. The only other indoor decorations that we have are functional decor items. One of those, or one type of those, is linens, Christmas linens. I don't keep a lot of those. A couple runners for the table, and some other small quilted items, pot holders, a wall hanging that my grandmother made for me. I don't think I even have a Christmas tablecloth. I might have to borrow one from my mom if I need to use one. And then we have a collection of holiday mugs. And I also have some glassware. I don't have any Christmas plates, but I do have some glassware that I've been slowly collecting. And the glasses stay in the cupboard with our other glassware. But I made a decorative arrangement of our holiday mugs, and I put it on, this is called a tea cart. My parents used to have this, and when we moved to this house, they gave it to us because they didn't have space for it in their new house. It mostly sits empty through the year, but this time of year, it's a perfect place to have a hot drinks station and place for all of the Christmas mugs to go. The only thing that's not perfect about this setup is that it's a few steps away from the kitchen, so there's no tea kettle here. The kettle is over by the coffee making stuff, so it's not like the most ideal, but it's a place you can go and grab what you need, and then you can walk to the kitchen and make the drink that you want. I added 2 festive teas to this cart from Spill the Tea, which is a local tea shop. I also added a homemade hot cocoa mix and jar of marshmallows. This is my first year making something like this. I've seen this idea for many years where people have a little area with festive drinks and little, I don't know, maybe drink mixes and that kind of thing. And this is also part of my holiday decorating, but it's very functional because we're going to be using these things. And I like the functionality of something like this. The mugs are a hodgepodge collection that I have gathered through the years. Some of them are very old. They go back at least a decade or more. Others are newer acquisitions from either thrift stores or home goods stores or just the home goods aisle at the grocery store. I wanted a mix of different volumes. Sometimes it's nice just to have a small amount, but sometimes you want to have a large. I personally like to drink coffee in smaller mugs, but then I like to make my hot cocoa in large mugs, so I like to have a collection of different shapes and sizes. This little cart brings me a lot of simple joy this time of year. This isn't super fancy, it's not hard to put together, it's stuff that I would have in cupboards anyways, and instead I just put it out and it looks festive and decorative, and it helps create a holiday atmosphere this time of year. I'm in the light here. No, I'm kind of dark. Oh, now I'm like very in the light. Now I'm like really bright head, trying to be illuminated enough, but not over illuminated, and to have some Christmassy thing behind me. This is like my first Christmassy thing. So that's why I want to stand here. It is the first weekend of December, and I have finished my Christmas gift shopping today. And I just feel like saying, yay, that part of my holiday prep is done. What's funny about that is that our Christmas gift giving is simple. We have a gift exchange with the whole family, everyone that's going to be there, and that's 14 of us this year. And we draw one name in a secret Santa exchange. And so we get one person's name, and that person has to make a wish list within the app that we use, which is Elfster. So you have to put things in there that you would like, and within a certain price range. So we have a price cap, and then people put a bunch of stuff in their wish list that, like, you know, either is that price or combinations of, well, be that price. And then the person that gets your name and is buying for you knows what to get you. This is how we do our exchange. And I only have one person to buy for. And for me personally, this is the best kind of gift exchange and gift, let's say, workload or responsibility, or whatever you want to call it. That work part of making Christmas, to have just one person to buy for, is the best. I love it. We switched over to this quite a few years ago, and it simplifies the whole gift giving and gift buying. And of course, people can buy gifts for other people if they want. And I think I already mentioned this in a previous video, like our kids like to give gifts to their partners. So you can do more than the one if you want. But for me, the one is perfect. So I have one person to buy for, and I had gotten some of those things for them already this week. I have to be honest here, it was online shopping from a retailer that shall not be mentioned. But they were very specific in what they wanted, and I just wanted to get them the thing that they wanted and needed. And it was a particular thing, and it was there, and I got it. But I wanted to get them also something that was from here, and that was something that was just little. It was like kind of a topping up gift. I'd spent almost the amount that I needed to spend for them, but I wanted to get them something a little bit more, and I wanted to get something that I think speaks to who they are and what they like. Then this can be a little challenging to find this kind of thing. I wanted to get it today, and I had some ideas in mind before I left the house of where I was going to go looking. And I went to these places, and I found what I think is a very appropriate gift. I hope they like it, but also it's not a huge, investment. It's not like the main thing or whatever, but I liked buying it for them. So anyways, I got that, and now my Christmas gift shopping, the gifts that I buy and give at Christmas, is done. Yay, I'm so happy. So this first weekend of December, I got the gifts that I needed to get. I can check that off my list. And I also did some grocery shopping that I didn't get done this week because of other Christmas activities. This is just the way it is this time of year. Everything kind of just piles up, and there's just a lot to be done. With the Christmas celebration coming up and hosting people, there's just always more groceries that are going to have to be bought. And so, I'm starting to get those things now. I'll be doing a big grocery shopping trip later this month, closer to Christmas. Well, probably a couple of them, but I'm starting now in like little things that I'm picking up. For example, today I got what we would need for making s'mores, and just to make sure I had all that stuff stocked, and some other like treat kind of things. So it was a Christmas prep afternoon of shopping, running errands, and finishing my Christmas gift shopping. And I got to do all of this in the beautiful area that I live. I was in Lunenburg. Mr. or Mrs. Claus tied up on a dolly. Gotta love it. And I got to do some shopping in Mahone Bay and this little village, I guess, called Blockhouse, where I went to a craft market, which is where I did my gift shopping. It was a productive Christmas prep afternoon, but I'm feeling especially good about checking Christmas gifts off my list. And tomorrow I'll be doing some decorating, and getting more into the Christmas spirit that way, because right now the only decorating that we have is, ta-da, this lovely wreath. Tomorrow the outdoor lights are going up. Damien is in charge of that. So things are going to start looking a little more festive around here very shortly, and I am excited about that. I like to take it easy and slow and just pace myself. But I'm also excited about getting things more festive in my home, and especially getting the lights up and making things pretty.
I've been good this year. Make your list and check it twice. I'll leave you a note right here underneath the Christmas lights. Carols and bells, none of them help. I still feel blue. I just wanna fall in love this Christmas. I don't need a fancy watch. You can give the elves a break. No, you can't make it in the shop, and you can't put it on your sleigh. You know me so well, and nobody else.
I am making bunches of greenery to go by our front door. I don't have a technical name for these things. Decorative pots, maybe? Holiday pots? Decorative holiday pots? I am making 2 of these, and I am collecting the greens from the woods behind our house because, ta-da, trees. So there's lots to choose from, and I'm going to a specific area that has a bunch of tiny, well, tiny and mid-sized spruce trees. It's like a spruce tree nursery. And I thought it would be cool to build these holiday pots with actual little trees. And I'm going to add the red berries that I've already collected a couple weeks ago. And I also saw somewhere how they put little birch, tiny birch trees. I mean, not the whole tree, but like, well, sections of trunk. I'm gonna look for some of those too. We don't actually have a lot of birch. We do have something else, beech, which would have the same kind of color contrast, the white light colored bark. Anyways, I am out in the woods to collect the greenery, and here's where I'm getting it from. Well, here's where I'm getting the spruce. I'm gonna get some pine from a different place because there's not a lot of pine here, but here we are. It's magical back here. I've been looking forward to doing this for weeks. It's been like a to-do, you know, like one of those things you feel you have to check off, but a to-do that gets me out here. Oh, and this is just right behind our house. Oh, it's just amazing. I just love it so much. I don't have one of those fancy harvesting baskets. I love them. I really want one. Those woven baskets with leather straps for carrying harvests. I don't have one of those, so I'm improvising with a black wet bag, or dry bag actually, that we use for canoeing. I lined it with plastic because I don't want it to get sap in it. So, because we put gear in these bags, and yeah, I'm trying to protect them. Do I look like a tree forester? I have never done this before. I am winging it. I'm hoping it's not going to be like one of these Pinterest fails. I am already excited by how these are turning out. It's already looking like what I envisioned. So yay! I'm feeling encouraged.
No.
And then I use sand, so I have like these pots, like the base of them is what just stays in them kind of all the time.
Yeah,
And I dug out all
Yeah.
the like potting soil, most of it.
Yeah.
And then I sand, and it's a great thing to stick into.
Yeah, they'll stay.
And then I'll put some more things in that wreath, and I have a wreath form in there that I
sitting
saved.
on the chair.
It kind of does, yeah. The Christmas list is getting crossed off. This is our Christmas Mastermind Central. How it works is all the ideas go on these papers here, and then once they have been scheduled to an actual day, they go onto the calendar, and then when the thing gets done, it gets crossed off on this calendar. And both my husband and I check this to see what's going on. And we also have regular meetings, not around the water cooler, but around the fridge and freezer. So we come back here and we discuss what needs to happen and who's doing it and when it's happening. And this is how we are, I guess, checking the things off of our list and staying on top of what needs to happen. And then also being aware of what each other is doing, sharing the load, both the mental load and the actual working load. This does not include the menu, which is its own document. This is tree, decorations, house setup, basically everything for accommodating people, hosting people, but not the food. So what's kind of funny is that earlier in this video, I talked about how decorating is low on my priority list. And so far, most of this video has been about decorating. And I think that's because the decorating is the fun stuff to show, and it actually is something to show. It's something that's being done in the physical world, and it's pretty. And so it's a good thing to show on video. One of the things that I've actually spent the most time on, which is the top priority on the Christmas priorities list, is the food and menu plan for our holiday. In the video that you see here, I am working on this menu plan and I am explaining it. However, I had my mic muted that day, and I didn't realize that until I went to edit all the recordings to make this video. So all of the audio that I did explaining my menu planning process is lost, which may in fact be a good thing because maybe I can, on this second go around, make it better. So let me explain what I mean by our holiday food and menu planning. Our food and holiday menu plan has several things to account for. And it's actually all these things that need to be accounted for that necessitate the plan. So if that makes sense, like the menu plan is for all these things, but it's because we have all these factors that I need to have a solid plan to begin with. So the first thing is we are having our whole family, our grown kids come to stay with us over the Christmas holiday. That is 6 extra people in our home. So for just the people that are in our home, which is just our immediate family, which I mean my husband, myself, our kids, and their partners. That's what I consider our immediate family. That is 8 people. We are normally an empty nest household with just 2 of us. And to make the shift from having enough food on hand and plans in place for 2 people to jump from 2 to 8 takes some planning. Something that complicates this a little bit is that my husband and I don't eat together regularly. We generally eat different foods and have our own menu plans and cook our own meals. And so it's not like we can just take what we normally do for the 2 of us on a weeknight, multiply it by 4, and say, ta-da, this is what we're having. We're not normally thinking about feeding more people than just ourselves. And so we're not even scaling from 2 to 8. We're moving from doing our own thing individually to having nightly gathered meals that everyone can eat and participate in the cooking of. That is a jump from our normal everyday habits. And so it takes some time to think about and to make plans for. So there is our immediate family of 8, and we are going to be all together for 7 nights. I think we have everyone here for 7 nights. And one of our kids and their partners is staying for 11 days. So we really have 11 days to think about, 7 of those with the immediate family of 8. In addition to this, we have extended family meals. Our extended family are my parents. They live across the driveway. And my brother, who lives on site right now, not permanently, but he's here right now. And his 3 young adult kids are coming for Christmas also. So all of us together is 14 people. And we will be having a few meals with all of us together. So this is the other element that we have to plan for. One of these will be the large Christmas Day holiday feast with turkey and all the trimmings and all the different dishes that multiple households will contribute to. And there will be a couple more meals on top of that. The menu plan covers all of this, the meals just for our immediate family, plus the larger group gatherings. I take on the planning for this because I am suited to do this work, both within my immediate family and my extended family. We are the ones also with the largest family. There's 8 of us, so we have the most eaters. And I personally have experience doing this, and I have capacity for it, and a vision for it, and a vision for the kind of gatherings that I want our family to have. I do not do all the cooking. I do not do all the cleaning. The cooking is shared amongst the households, or if it's going to be a meal of just the 8 of us, the cooking will be shared within our household. I take on the planning, but not the cooking of everything. I use Google spreadsheets to prepare the menu plan. I only use this kind of tool at Christmas. I don't use Google spreadsheets for my normal everyday menu planning. I have a few years worth now of Google spreadsheets to refer back to from previous Christmases, and some things we make again. And if I remember, I will make notes in the menu plan or on the recipes that we've printed off to use. I'll make notes about what was really good and what worked from previous years, what didn't. So when I go to make the Christmas holiday menu plan, we're clear here, I'm not talking just about the one-day large feast. The one-day large feast is just one meal in a series of meals over the holiday. When I go to make the Christmas menu, I copy the one from last year and I then tweak and edit that copy according to what is going on this year. So the days change, the number of people change, and also some of the things that we're eating change. So you can imagine on a spreadsheet that each day has its own column, and I'm only planning the supper meals, particularly for the large group gatherings. I'm not planning any other meals other than supper. Sometimes there will be like a brunch meal that we have at Christmas time. This year, I'm not planning anything like that. Each day has its own column, and then I fill that column in with all the different parts of the meal. And when I start the document, sometimes I will know recipes right away, especially if I'm carrying forward recipes from previous years, which I do for our holiday feast meal. We prepare pretty much all the same things that we did last year. If someone wanted to change that, they would be so welcome to do that. No one yet has stepped up to say, I want to plan the Christmas menu. So I keep doing it, and it's a repeat menu, but it's tradition, right? This is what we're familiar and comfortable with, and it's really tasty. So that meal is pretty much a repeater. And then the other days, I might start with an idea. Like, for example, this year I wanted to make cabbage rolls. So I put that down on one of the days. And then there's other things that have to be filled in because we're not just going to eat cabbage rolls for supper. We'll have to have a salad with it. That's an example of one day. I may start with the idea of the meal and then I'll find the recipe. Sometimes I will already have a recipe picked and it'll be like, oh, I really want to make this for Christmas. Or we made this last year, let's make this again. And then I will build the menu from that. So it starts from an idea or a particular recipe for the main dish. And then I have to build out the sides and the salads and desserts if we're having them. In the end, I have a document, the menu plan, that is a plan for every day that we have people here. In addition to the supper meals, I also put on the master menu planning document ideas for snacks, ideas for lunch, and the different foods that I need for that. So it's a lot of build your own kind of lunches or late breakfasts. Often during holiday periods, the age that everyone is at in our family, they will eat like a large late morning brunch breakfast and then, have some snacks later in the afternoon at some time. And then we'll have the big supper meal. So we're not planning or thinking about eating 3 meals a day. And part of my menu planning is just to think about what are the things that I want to have on hand for the other meals that people will be eating. And those ideas have another section in the document, separate from the supper ideas. Part of this planning is assigning which household is going to bring which contribution to our larger group meals. I will also be figuring that out for the meals that are just the 8 of us, but that's a little less important in advance. I can kind of do that on the fly after people are here and discuss with them, the kind of contributions they would like to be making. But when I'm making the menu plan for the meals that we're sharing with everybody on site, I'm also thinking about which household is going to be contributing which item on that plan, and trying to think about distributing the labor and the load according to household size. After I have the big pieces of the menu plan in place, I will communicate these to the other households and say, here's what you're bringing for these meals. Sometimes I will supply recipes. Other times, depending on what they're bringing, I will just say, find a recipe for this kind of thing for this many people. It kind of depends on the meal that we're eating and how specific I need to get with the different contributions. The other important part of the menu plan which actually kind of precedes the menu plan, but it's part of the whole picture of meal planning for the holiday, is getting everyone's dietary intolerances and allergies so we know what we can and can't cook for people. So part of my menu planning process was sending out a document, another Google spreadsheet, to the whole family before sitting down to make the menu and asking them, what are you not able to eat? And then I make a plan that considers all of that. And then that list is available to everyone that is cooking and contributing to the meals so that they can reference it themselves to make sure when they go to cook their thing that it is compliant with the restrictions list. And not everything will be compliant with everybody's collective food intolerances and restrictions. But the menu plan does ensure that everyone will be able to eat food at the meals and there will be something for them there. I think now we need a visual of the menu plan, or at least the first 4 days. And when I went into the menu plan, I realized that I actually am planning for 12 days, not 11. There's 12-day columns in my spreadsheet, not 11. So I mentioned 11 earlier, it's actually 12. The first 4 days of our holiday are completely planned, so they are nice ones to show. And I have like color coding on here that makes sense to me. This is a living work in progress document that I am working in almost every day now. So things change on here. But at the time of editing and getting this ready to release, this is what the spreadsheet looks like. And you can see I record on here when it's just for our family and when it's the whole group. And I have kind of the theme of the meal at the top of the menu list. And then I have everything that's being served that meal. So for example, one of our meals is a taco bar, and I'm repeating this from last year. It was really popular. So in this plan, I have everything that is going into this meal, so I don't forget anything when I go to get the groceries or assign the contributions to different households. On this taco bar meal, I don't yet have who's doing what listed here, but it gives you an idea of all the things that will be served with that meal. Something that I did this year that I have never done before, but something that feels very reminiscent to me of the work that I have seen my aunties and my mom and my grandmas doing, is preparing meals in advance. This is my first year doing this, and this year I have prepared cabbage rolls in advance and tortilla. And it is so satisfying to have these suppers already made, to have these main dishes of these suppers already made and in the freezer. So that's 2 of the 12 meals. I have a significant part of the meal already made. It front loads the work, and I used weekends to prepare these meals. And then it will give me a little bit more breathing room on the days that we serve this food for the other things that I want to do with my family. Going for hikes, going for walks in the woods, going to the beach, just hanging out, reading, playing games or puzzles. I'm just hoping to have a little less work in the kitchen. Even though I'm not the only one preparing food, I am trying to get some of my food prep out of the way ahead of time. So this segment about food has been really long, which is actually appropriate because food, menu planning, grocery shopping, getting everything ready for eating is the biggest part of my labors and the most work in preparing for Christmas. And it's at the top of my priority list. So there's alignment there for me between what I value and where I'm spending my time. But food takes time in our lives anyways. So of course it's going to take effort and time also during holiday time. So it's appropriate that it's taking a big chunk of this video because it really is what I'm spending most of my Christmas preparation time doing, either thinking or making or whatever. So one of the things that I made this month, this is another first for me, is my mom and I made flatbread together. Flatbread is a traditional Christmas food in my maternal family of origin, so on my mom's side of the family. It's, I guess, like a kind of hardtack, but it's much more delicate and flaky. And I did some Googling to try and find the right way to describe it and to explain its origins. It's still a little murky to me because the descriptions I'm reading don't exactly match our family recipe or how our flatbread looks. But what I do know is that our family's traditional flatbread is Scandinavian in origin. Though flatbreads seem universally human, they exist in so many food cultures, which makes sense because it is the easiest bread to make. The recipe that Mum follows is photocopied from an old family recipes cookbook, and the recipe is titled Swedish flatbread. My maternal grandfather, so my mom's dad, was Swedish, and his first wife, Cora, was Norwegian. They had 3 boys, my uncles, and Cora died early in their marriage from a penicillin allergic reaction. My widowed grandfather married my Scottish-born grandmother a couple years later. They had 2 girls, my mom and my auntie. All of that is to say that my maternal family food traditions are an amalgam of Scandinavian, Scottish, and Canadian prairie farmer. Although it's hard to parse exact origin, my mom grew up eating flatbread at Christmas. My dad's childhood also, although it was rooted in German and Mennonite heritage, was intertwined with the same cultural influences as my mom's, with plenty of Scandinavian exposure, particularly during his teen years in northern Minnesota. So, all of that to say, my parents have been eating flatbread at Christmas for many decades, and I grew up eating flatbread at Christmas. Mom has reliably kept the tradition alive for all my adult Christmases and my own children's Christmases. I have felt the need for some years now to pick up the flatbread making torch. I want to be worthy of the waffled rolling pin I will one day inherit, and I want to keep this tradition alive. And so last week we made that happen, and I spent the afternoon in my mom's kitchen making flatbread. We had Christmas music streaming on surround sound, the sound system that Damien set up for my parents in their new house, which is really great. Mom and I laughed, talked, and baked our way through the afternoon. Mom shared stories of her childhood Christmases. We talked about the present and the past as I learned a family recipe to carry forward in the future. Spending that time together was such a gift. All of it just felt so deeply meaningful. The baking that we were doing, adding food to the Christmas pantry, our time spent together, the memories shared, and the memories that we made. I don't know how true to the original my flatbread turned out. Some of it is too thick, the first ones, some too brown, some too thin, but it tastes amazing. It tastes like being with my grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. It tastes like Mom's kitchen. It tastes like Christmas. The flatbread is stored in a box, covered on top of our freezer in our entry, and it is ready for Christmas eating. Making flatbread with my mom was one of my Christmas countdown highlights, and I'm happy to share some of that with you here. Wow, so this video really got away on me. I had no idea it was going to be so long. If you're still watching, thanks for sticking around this long. I would love to know what your holiday traditions are, food or otherwise. Also, if you're done with traditions, if you're saying we're just doing new things because it suits us better at this stage in life, or who we are as a couple or an individual or a family, that's cool too. I'd love to hear about that. If you could drop that in the comments, I would love to read that. I love learning about other people's families and how they do things. You might notice I'm not wearing any glasses, and I always wear glasses. That's because I need glasses to see. However, at this distance that I'm holding the camera from my face, if I wear glasses, I can't see myself in the display window. And it's always hard for me to film these kind of videos because it's fuzzy at this distance for me to look at the display. So I just took my glasses off, in case you're wondering. I want to wrap this video up. It is so long as it is, but I cannot end this Christmas countdown without the tree story. I'm not going to do storytelling in the video or a long voiceover about getting the tree. although that in itself is a story for our family and has some tradition around that. Trying to move out of the wind. There is a link in my video description about the balsam fir Christmas tree industry here in Nova Scotia, and specifically about the county where I live, Lunenburg County, which is, maybe it's a self-proclaimed, but the balsam fir Christmas tree capital of the world. Lots of balsam here, lots of Christmas trees grown here, and then shipped to other places, including down to Panama and Costa Rica, which I just learned in watching the video. Anyways, I'm not going to use words to tell the story of getting the tree and setting it up, but I have video, and the video is going to tell the story of getting our Christmas tree. I'm going to roll that now and wrap up this Christmas countdown video number 4. It's gorgeous.
So this is a 5-foot diameter.
5 foot?
Yeah.
Okay, that's...
I know you were measuring 5 feet in there and you're like, ooh, this is really wide.
I think this might be too wide. Let's try that other one. Yeah, it has all the fullness. Yeah, from here, this is what we're gonna see.
Yeah.
That's a great tree.